Welcome to Retirement Perspectives with Bob Horne. If your retirement picture is blurry, Bob and the team at NuVenture Financial Group can help you put your retirement into focus. Bob strives to understand all of your financial needs to help guide you on the path to your retirement goals. This is Retirement Perspectives with Bob Horne.
There are a lot of things we protect in our life, but do you have a plan to help protect your retirement income? Well, on today's show, we'll explain why you might want to consider it so you can enjoy your ideal retirement. Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle Martin, alongside the founder of NuVenture Financial Group, Bob Horne. Bob, it's so great to be with you today. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. Thank you very much. Great to be back.
I'm excited. So I have something for you. Do you know exactly what this is?
So this is a pocket protector.
It is. Do you actually use it?
And it is not mine, by the way. I don't use this thing. So
it's a little old school nowadays, but I'll tell you what, this is something that a lot of people, some people are using nowadays, I'm not sure, but some people are using pocket protectors, right? Or others are using, let's say, phone cases to protect their phones. Some people are using smoke detectors, right, in their house to make sure that everything's protected. But when it comes to our income and when it comes to retirement, how can we protect our income in retirement?
Yeah, so this is an important subject. So one of the things that we do at our office is we address something they call sequence of returns risk. And we've talked about this before in some of these shows. Sequence of returns risk is the risk that the stock market goes down in the early years of your retirement while you're pulling money out. And it can cause some very adverse effects long term. For instance, if you pull money out when the market's down maybe a year or two in a row, and you're continuing to pull the money out, the investment money is not enough for it to recoup and go back up again. So it could be one of these things with a snowballing effect and your income continues to be what it is, but your investments go down. And so over 10 and 15 years, you theoretically could run out of money. And so we want to address that on the front end by using protected income.
Now let's actually dive into that a little bit more. Let's define what exactly protected income is, and can you provide some examples?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways that we consider to have protected income. We talk about this in the foundation of our fiscal house. So the first way is Social Security. It's about as guaranteed as you can get. It's not necessarily guaranteed, but it's as close as you can get. That income, once you turn it on, it's going to continue to go on. Also, if you have a pension at work, it's going to be about as guaranteed as it can get. It's not fully guaranteed, but it's as close as you can get to that. And then as far as different savings products and other things you can do from an investment perspective, you have different dividend paying stocks. Also, we like to use annuities, certain types of annuities here as well. And annuities can be one of those things that's very close to being guaranteed. The cool thing about annuities is that their protections are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the carrier. So we use that as a strength. We turn on income from an annuity, it can be nearly guaranteed for the rest of your life. The neat thing though is that you can actually turn the income off in an annuity and use it for different reasons. As life changes, we can kind of pivot.
Now, when we're talking about protected income, this is a very significant piece when it comes to retirement planning, because I want to share a report with you. It says that from the Alliance, from the lifetime income, it says that the number of protected households is on the rise at 40%, which means that 60% of us are not protected. So that means many of us are facing some challenges. So what challenges might we be facing when it comes to maybe income in retirement?
So yeah, maybe income. It's important to understand, and I speak a lot to this at our workshops and at our office and even in my book, that the stock market was designed to be a growth engine. And it does a very good job of that over time. But it was never designed to be an income engine. This is where we talk about some of those protections, right? That kind of thing. The problem with this, Danielle, is that the vast majority of the families that come into my office, nearly all of their assets, a large portion of the assets, is all in the stock market. And the stock market is not a bad thing. We like the stock market. Money grows over time. But it was not designed to be an income engine. And it goes right back to that sequence of returns risk. If you've got too much money in that bucket, and you're taking income from it, it can present some really real risk over time. And so this is where we talk about the protected income, utilizing what we can, which is going to be your Social Security, pensions if you have it, dividend paying stocks, maybe bonds, and then also different types of annuities that exist out there as well.
I think it's important too to remind retirees that while they're navigating, trying to figure out all the sources of income that they could have in retirement, why not just sit down with a financial advisor? They can walk you through all of these steps to make sure that your money lasts as long as you live.
Right, so it's important. We always talk about working with an independent retirement planner. That's not held captive to working with one company, that can work with many different companies. And so it's important to work with an independent financial planner or retirement planner that can talk to you about all the different investment options you have and the income options you have that can address certain types of risk in the future, inflation risk, market risk, all that kind of stuff.
Options is what I like to hear. So we're going to continue this coming up after the break. So protected income may be important, but how do you know what kind of income is right for you? We'll discuss that coming up next. Plus, we'll tell you how to build your fiscal house for retirement. Stay with us.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. Our current tax rates are set to expire in just a few short years. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
Well, welcome back into the show. We've been talking about the importance of protected income. It's a big topic since running out of income in retirement is a huge fear of many. So Bob, how do you help someone have a little bit more confidence when it comes to their income picture in retirement? That's the most important thing.
You know, it's a funny story, Danielle. So you know I have 4 daughters, and I won't tell you which one, but years ago, one of them came to me when she was being introduced in middle school to algebra and was kind of having a difficult time figuring out how algebra works in the equations. And as a kid, I was always really good at algebra. I didn't apply myself like I should have probably, but I was always really good at algebra. So I sat down with her and I kind of started explaining what you do is put the equation at the top of the paper and you start working through a system and of laws and rules, that kind of thing, and you get your answer. Then you can always back test it too. You can always check your answer. And at that point, it dawned on me, that's essentially exactly what I do every single day in retirement planning and specifically income planning. There are certain things that go into the equation and every equation is different. Everybody that comes to the office is different, but there are certain things that we go into it and then it produces certain things. So what goes into the equation? That's going to be your monthly income and your monthly expenses. We start with the expenses. What is your bogey? What do we have to target there, right? And then what type of income do we need to provide you to make sure that all your expenses are paid for? Then also the third piece is your investments. What do you have outside of that income stream if we need to bring some money into that protected income? So it seems very simple, but we customize these solutions for everybody that comes into our office.
I love that you guys are customizing it for everyone because everyone is different. Because I can imagine that many people would want protected income, but I'm sure many people might not understand how to get it. So how can you help someone kind of consider their options when it comes to protected income?
Yeah, so we speak a lot to this. And so what I always recommend people do is come to one of our workshops that we do. We're very educational, we're very informational. We give a lot of information at those workshops. We teach on those subjects. About the different types of protected income and how to get them from a plan. The ultimate goal, Danielle, is when somebody comes in our office is to give them a lot of confidence in their retirement. I want them to see and feel that plan and feel very confident and give them the ability to sleep better at night, ultimately. That's the idea, right? I want to sleep better at night and I want my clients to sleep better at night as well.
Yes, I love that. And I don't want to have to worry. I'm sure many of us don't want to have to worry about if our money is going to last, right? But one of the things when it comes to protected income and income in retirement is taxes. We can't avoid that. So kind of talk about how taxes can also impact our retirement income.
Well, you know, it's funny that in our first segment, we talked about that when most families come to see me in the office, we feel like, for the most part, all of their investments are in the stock market. It just is naturally what it is. When it comes to tax planning, what we often see is the vast majority of the family's wealth that they've saved up is usually in pre-tax accounts. It's usually the 401ks, right? So the main culprit. Pre-tax accounts, they've never paid taxes on it. Here they are in retirement with the most money they've ever had, and they realize, uh-oh, I got to start paying taxes. Now, what's interesting is that at our workshops, when I start talking about taxes, I'll ask people, raise your hand if you think taxes are really important to a comprehensive retirement plan. And nearly everybody in the crowd raises their hand. And then I'll follow that back up and I'll say, keep your hand raised if your financial advisor has ever asked you for a copy of your tax return. And you see all the hands go down, wow. Maybe one or two. Mm-hmm. And so I'll tell them, so in a situation that we think is super important to our retirement plan, nobody's financial advisors are asking for their tax returns. Wow. It's because they're not working with an independent retirement planner. And so the idea is to get money from these pre-tax accounts over to a tax-free, like a Roth IRA account, as reasonably quick as possible. And so we work with different software at our office and go through different concepts to make sure that we can do this over a series of time.
You know, it's so interesting that you talked about, having confidence in retirement. And I think something that comes with that confidence is making sure you have a plan in place as well. I'm sure you come across many retirees that don't have a plan when it comes to their retirement. So kind of quickly remind us really quick the significance of having a plan, because I think when you have that plan, you're not overlooking anything. All your ducks are in a row. So talk about why you can't avoid having a plan.
Yeah. So it's funny, I tell these stories in my workshops, and my wife would probably roll her eyes right now. But I always tell the story that, my wife takes my four daughters, her mother and my mother-in-law and her mother's best friend to the mountains every fall to watch the leaves fall. And occasionally, right before she leaves, the night before, she'll ask me, hey, what's the best way to get there? Now, you don't know my wife, I don't think, but if I told her, honey, just go north, it's North Carolina, she'd probably slap me and I'd come in here with a big fat, red mark on my face. I don't say that. Yeah. What I tell her is certain directions and give her a map to get to those mountains, right? Mm-hmm. To avoid traffic and avoid all that kind of stuff. It's an actual plan. It's not a direction. I ask folks when they come into our office to bring in their investment plan or their income plan. What they bring me is their statements. And their statements tell me one of two things. Did their money go north or did it go south, right? It's not an actual plan. Now, they're important to have, but it's not a plan. When the families that we work with get done with their design stage, we give them an actual written retirement income plan.
Wow, that's something to definitely keep in mind. You can't avoid it forever, but I love how you just broke it down in that analogy. It's a good reminder that you can't keep avoiding it. You need one in place to make sure that your money lasts as long as you do. Thank you so much for those insights. Absolutely. Coming up next, Bob explains how building a retirement income plan is kind of like building a house, your financial house. We'll dive into that coming up next. We'll be right back.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. Our current tax rates are set to expire in just a few short years. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
Planning for retirement can be complicated. Helping create income that lasts, making sure your health care is covered, investing while managing risk, and don't forget about taxes. If you're overwhelmed, you're not alone. The good news is we have what you need to give you confidence to start planning for your ideal retirement, all in one convenient resource. You'll get answers to some of your biggest retirement questions in this easy-to-understand, practical resource. And best of all, there's no cost to you. Take the first step toward a confident retirement and get yours today.
Bob, now you say building a retirement income plan is kind of like building a house. What can you tell us?
Thank you, Danielle. So in today's Retirement in Focus segment, we're going to talk about the fiscal house, one of my favorite concepts. We get so much feedback at our office from this simple concept because it explains retirement planning with a rationale, with a reasoning in mind. So the way that we build a retirement plan is very similar to building a house. If you've ever built a house, you know it starts in certain segments. You don't start with the roof first. You generally start by clearing the land and starting with the home project. And so we equate the same thing. When we build a retirement plan, it's like building our fiscal house. And I want to show you that concept here today. So what we're going to generally do is the first part of a retirement plan is very similar to building your house. The first part we start with is going to be called the foundation. And the foundation, just like the foundation of your home, we don't want to have any cracks in it. The foundation of this income plan is going to be your income stream. So your income stream, no cracks. So what types of income are going to be coming into your foundation during your retirement? Well, some very sure ways that we get income. One's going to be Social Security, a very sure way of getting the retirement plan, retirement income you need. It's also cost of living adjusted. You might be a lucky one and actually still have the option for a pension. You may actually have a pension, and if so, we can turn that on. Others of you may have some real estate. Okay, real estate properties that are producing a monthly income to you. So those are all three very good ways, very sure ways of having income. However, most of the families that come into my office, this may not be enough to give them as much income as they're going to need to equal their expenses. And believe it or not, as simple as it sounds, your income has to equal your expenses. We've talked about it on the show before. There are certain things that we can do to address this, but your income has got to equal your expenses. If it doesn't, we'll use some of your investments, just enough to give you enough income in this foundation. This is the most important part of the whole project, of the whole fiscal house. From there, we don't need all your money to put in the foundation, so we're going to save it for the walls. Now, the walls is going to be the money that we use in the first, say, 10 to 15 years of our retirement. So what are some of the things that you want to be doing in your first 10 or 15 years of your retirement? Most folks say, well, Bob, I want to travel. And so we put it there. This is money that you can use for traveling. You can use this money for your home improvements. Maybe you want to put a deck on the back of the house, put a pool in, maybe redo a bathroom or a kitchen. We have money here that you can use for home improvements. Also, what about toys? Maybe you want to buy a motorcycle or a boat or a travel trailer, something like that. This is all money we can use here. And then also we talk a lot about family. If you've watched this show, you know that I have 4 daughters, right? So that also means that I have to help pay for 4 different weddings, right? And so that goes here. In here, we're going to talk about family here. Now, the important thing is that this is what we call the party money. We want you to party, have a really good retirement, go spend the money. But you don't need to do these things every single month. You're not traveling or doing home improvements or buying the toys every single month. So we don't need to have a monthly income stream. The main thing here is that we want to make sure that we have access to our money. No handcuffs on our money, what we call liquidity, okay? So here, access is at premium here. Also, this money typically, but not always, typically we put this stuff in the stock market at a very conservative level. And the reason why is that we're okay with some of the gyrations in the market. We want to do this though. I don't want to have the market go up and down here, because if the market's down and I get a call from one of my clients saying, Bob, I need some money to go on a European vacation, I want to be able to be confident in giving them that money to make sure they can do that, not when the market's down. Use the money within reason. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to have the roof on the house. Now the roof on the house is going to be anything from 15 years plus is what we're going to do here. So here we're going to have 15 years plus in the road. So long-term money. Things are different here. So long-term, some of the things are going to be changing here. This is where healthcare becomes a situation. Long-term care, Medicare, things begin to hurt the longer you live. And so we're going to have to address healthcare. This is also where estate planning and legacy planning live. Really important that we make sure we have this set up in your roof. This is also where inflation can start rearing its ugly head. If it does, no problem. And guess what? We had a plan in place. That conversation always was going to happen. So all we do when you have that conversation with me that, hey, Bob, things are getting tight, inflation's setting in, it's simple. We had a plan for it. All we do is take money off the roof and put it into the income stream. Maybe we give you a bump of $500 or $1,000 a month. That will help augment some of these expenses you have here and boost your income back up. The last thing, we always make sure that there is an emergency exit in your home, right? The emergency exit, that's going to be money we recommend you keeping at the bank. You need to have some money that is same day liquid. You can go down to the bank and get money today. It's really important to have that there. Now, I would argue you may not need to have $100,000 in a savings account, but you probably need to have more than $2,000 there as well. And we'll talk through that at our office. So with that being said, I hope you got a lot of value today out of our fiscal house concept, how we build a retirement plan in perspective and with a purpose in mind with the rationale. Danielle, back to you.
Thanks, Bob. Coming up next, we'll answer some of your retirement questions in our Q&A segment. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When it comes to planning for the future, time may not always be on your side. Think about your taxes. Tax rates are historically low right now, but they'll likely be higher in the future. Our current tax rates are set to expire in just a few short years. With the right planning and strategy, you might be able to cut your tax bill in the years to come. But don't wait until it's too late to take advantage of today's lower tax rates. Let us be your partner in planning for tomorrow so you can enjoy your retirement today.
How does your future look in retirement? When you don't have a strategy, the future might look a little fuzzy. But with someone asking the right questions and helping you learn where you truly stand, it can become easier to work towards your goals. You need a plan to help generate income that will last as long as you need it. And the first step to creating an income plan is an analysis of where you are now. Let us help you bring your retirement into focus with your free income analysis today.
Well, welcome back into the show. It's time to get to your questions that you have for Bob. Bob, are you ready?
I am. Let's do it.
Okay, it's our favorite part of the show. Our first question comes from Scott in Fleming Island. He says, we have a small mortgage on our home. Should we take money from our IRA to pay it off now or just pay it off over the next 6 years?
So this is a good topic and a good question. So I get this a lot. So it really depends on a couple different things, obviously. Liquidity, access to money. We want to make sure that if you pay your house off, we still have money outside of that. But the most important thing to look at is what is the rate on your mortgage? What are you paying? Is it super low? Is it super high? And then if you have money in your IRA, what is it making? So in theory, if you have a 2.5% interest rate on your mortgage, but you're getting 5% on your IRA, well, it would make no sense to take 5% money to pay off 2.5% money, right? But just the opposite, if your mortgage for some reason at 6 or 7 or 8%, and you have money that's only making you 2.5%, you might as well leverage the money and pay off this high thing, right? So that's important. It's simple, but we have to kind of go through that process and kind of look at those things. The one thing that Scott said though, that I want to make sure we understand is he said, take money from an IRA. It's really important that we understand if you pay off a home or use money from an IRA, it's going to be taxable. And I've seen this trip up some families before. They take money out of an IRA, they pay off this big expense and don't take taxes into consideration, and they get surprised next year when they file their taxes. So if you're going to do that, you need to make sure you're working with a CPA or a tax planning expert that can help you with that, taking money out of your IRA.
I love that reminder. Going to make sure we're mindful about taxes. Don't want to keep paying too much of that, right?
For
so
sure.
Good insights there, Bob. Okay, next question comes from Alice in Fruit Cove. She says, I'm 59 and plan on working until I'm 66. Should I roll over my 401k while I'm still working?
Yes.
Yep. I know
I'm just joking. That was a very simple answer. So yes, this is pretty much unequivocally, I say absolutely. Once you reach the age of 59 and a half, take that money in your 401k and roll it over to IRA. Will then take control of that money. And that's super important because now you have all the options on the table. In your 401k, you might have 20 or 30 different options in there. If you keep your money in your 401k, what you're basically saying is those options are the best options that exist in the entire world. And we all know that's just not the case. So when you roll it over to an IRA, now the investment world is open to you. There's thousands and thousands of different types of investments that you can look at. So we typically recommend to roll it over once you reach age 59 and a half. And the other thing is, now that you take control of it, now you can start doing tax planning that you couldn't do in your 401k. So if you work with a retirement planner, you can be proactive in your tax mitigation strategies.
Okay, our last question comes from Jose in Jacksonville Beach. He says, how much money can you inherit without paying inheritance tax?
So this is an interesting question. So it's good, it's nice that we live in Florida because we don't have a state inheritance tax. In other states around the country, there actually is an inheritance tax. And so if you pass away, there's going to be a tax on that money from the state level. Now, it's important to understand, Danielle, that obviously, you know, I'm not an attorney. So to answer this question appropriately and to make sure that you understand, I highly recommend going to see an estate planning attorney or a qualified professional to talk this through. There is a federal inheritance tax, but the limits are really high. So for an individual right now, it's over $13 million. And for a married couple, it's over $27 million. So if you pass away with assets under that level, you don't have to worry about a federal inheritance tax. If you do pass away with assets over that level, then it's certainly going to affect you. The important thing is that those limits go up and down. It's a moving target. So with different presidents or different Congresses that are in, those levels can go up or down depending on what's going on. So that's why it's important to work with a retirement planner that can kind of help you guide you through that.
I appreciate that reminder, and I appreciate your insights as well, Bob. I'm always learning something new with you, so I enjoy this show every time we're together. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, if you have a question, submit it, and we might just answer it on a future show. And if you want to know ways to generate lifetime income, reduce your tax bill, and maintain your lifestyle in retirement, reach out now to start planning for your ideal retirement. For Bob and the team at NuVenture Financial Group, I'm Danielle Martin, wishing you a healthy and happy journey to and through retirement. Have a great day.